All right, good evening, everyone. Ethan Stuber here with Stuber Weather Forecasting. Here with a live stream update for the severe weather tomorrow. Excuse me. This is live streaming right now on YouTube. This is where I'll hopefully be doing live streams tomorrow, should the severe weather require it. So let's dive right in and look at the severe weather outlook for tomorrow put on by the National Weather Service. First up on your screen, this is the severe weather outlook highlighting the entire state. Notice everyone from Bloomington over to Quincy, all the way to the southern tip of the state, is under that enhanced risk for some severe weather tomorrow. If we break that down into the categories, the tornado threat looks to stay off to our south and west, say from East St. Louis down to Carbondale, Marion. That's kind of the bullseye for this severe weather, or for the tornado threat. Wind threat, everyone is under the 30% hatched risk. And remember, the hatched area is just a greater than 10% probability of some significant wind gusts greater than 74 miles per hour. So could see some strong winds at times tomorrow, as well as some strong and large hail. This hatched risk for everyone along, basically everyone in the viewing area, especially if you're along and south of I-70. This hatched risk indicates greater than 10% probability of some significant hail, which is identified as larger than 2 inches in diameter. If we take a closer look at home, again, everyone under that enhanced risk for tomorrow. That tornado threat's off to our south and west. The severe wind risk, that is also, everyone's included in that 30% hatched risk there. And for the severe hail risk, everyone is included, especially along and south of I-70, in that 30% hatched risk. So there's that. As far as timing goes for tomorrow, we're going to see 2 different rounds of some severe weather. First off, it's going to come through in the morning hours. We'll see a break, and then more storms will come through in the afternoon to the evening time frame. So we're going to pick this up at midnight tonight. Notice thunderstorms that are producing all sorts of stuff out in Oklahoma today are located off to our west, closer to Kansas City. As we go through the overnight hours, those storms are going to continue to race east and maintain a lot of strength as they do so. This is 6 a.m. Indicates maybe a line of showers and thunderstorms along the Mississippi River. Those will continue to move east through the overnight and early morning hours. Here's 7 a.m., maybe approaching that I-57 corridor. By 8 a.m., they are entering most of the viewing area, especially the western counties, maybe weakening just slightly. By 9 a.m., they move through. And notice maybe a second round of the morning convection may develop off to our south and west. That shouldn't be much of a concern for us. That'll move through. Here's 10 a.m., 11, and by noon, most of those intense showers and thunderstorms are off to our east at that point. Biggest threat from the first wave looks to be damaging winds and maybe some small hail. Isolated tornadic spin-ups are not out of the question. However, they don't look to be quite as likely with this first line of storms. So, again, first line of showers and thunderstorms, timing looks to be from about 6 a.m. till about noon. Best timing for that first round. After that, we'll get a break. Notice this is now 4 p.m. We've had a break for a couple hours. Storms are going to again start to fire a little bit further east this time. So say this particular model is indicating maybe right along that I-57 corridor we'll have to watch some of these storms. As they start to form in this kind of what we call discrete form, meaning they're not in a big linear system, they're more individualized. That's where some of the tornadic potential will develop. Again, the highest risk for any tornadoes tomorrow will be down to our south, say around that Carbondale and Marion area. But we will, it is something to watch for our neck of the woods. So again, 4 p.m. By 5, 6 p.m., those storms are really starting to fire up, especially off to our west. 7 p.m., we see maybe some intense thunderstorms starting to develop along the Route 50 corridor. By 8, so keep advancing here, by 8 p.m., they've started to form more of a linear mode. So instead of being more individualized and discrete, now we've got kind of a line of showers and thunderstorms. At this point, we'll transition over to some damaging wind and some brief tornadic spin-ups will be still possible out of these storms. But I think, once the sun goes down and these storms kind of start to linearize, I guess is the word we can use, that's when we'll see more of a damaging wind threat. So again, 8 p.m., storms start to form off into more of a line. 9, 10, 11 p.m., they're pretty well off to the area. By midnight, we're clear of all the showers and thunderstorms. So again, best timing for tomorrow afternoon right now is we'll say 4 to 5 o'clock is when those storms will start to fire up all the way until about midnight. So 2 time frames for tomorrow, 6 a.m. to noon, and then about 4 p.m. till about midnight. So you do have a window in there. If you have any get-togethers or if you have any outdoor plans, maybe you need to mow the yard or anything like that, assuming it's not crazy wet from the morning storms, you'll have time to do that in the early afternoon. But then be weather aware as that next round of showers and thunderstorms will move through. I've talked about this in some of my earlier videos this week, but there will be a lot of all the components for this severe weather look to be pretty available, pretty stout across the area. So first off is the convective available potential energy. This is basically the storm juice that storms need to really get going and continue to expand. This is for the morning convection. This is at 7 a.m. And notice everyone across the area has around 2,000, maybe just over 2,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. So there will be plenty of storm energy tomorrow morning for that first round. Take a look at that and compare it to the evening system. Notice stronger CAPE values will be off to our south and to our west, where that tornado threat is a little bit higher. But there is still a pretty good level of CAPE, especially along and south of Route 50. We're looking at, again, 2,000 to 2,500 joules per kilogram as those storms start to fire up. So we'll have plenty of energy or plenty of juice for the storms to start get going. The lifted index, you've heard me talk about this. This is basically just how buoyant and how much the atmosphere is willing to let storms grow and how fast the storms will grow. The lower the number, the more conducive the atmosphere is for thunderstorm development. In the area we're looking at -8, -9. Those are pretty impressive numbers for the area. So the atmosphere again will be primed for that thunderstorm development in the afternoon. Last thing we look at is wind shear. Where we're going to see, if we see wind shear, we could see that component, especially some damaging winds, but maybe some brief tornadoes out of this as well. And we do see some wind shear both at the closer to ground and as well as higher up. And along with wind shear, there's 2 types of wind shear. We've got speed shear, which is winds going at different speeds at different heights of the atmosphere, as well as what we call directional shear, where winds are going, as the name implies, in different directions, at different levels of the atmosphere. So let's see, I clicked this one. So notice closer to the ground, we'll see winds more out of the southwest, whereas higher up, we've got more of a westerly wind. So we will see that both directional and speed shear tomorrow afternoon as these storms begin to move in. So all the ingredients are there for thunderstorm development tomorrow. We'll have to watch. All modes of severe weather are possible as well. So damaging winds, some large hail, and some tornadoes. The tornado threat, like I said, will go down as the night progresses. However, it is still something we will need to watch. One other thing I didn't have pulled up, but I want to talk about, is we could see some significant precip out of this tomorrow as well. Let's see, this is let's go Monday. So this is by Monday evening. Let's see how this number. So by Monday afternoon, as these storms have moved through, total precip could be totaling close to an inch along the Route 50 corridor. Higher amounts, obviously, if you get a thunderstorm camped out over top of you. But notice where those storms are going to track a little bit more in the morning, heavier in the morning. That's where those higher totals are. So around an inch of precip possible across the area, maybe a little bit higher if you get a thunderstorm camped out, or you have training thunderstorms right over your area. So that is pretty well the setup for tomorrow. Again, we'll look at future radar one more time. Again, tomorrow morning as these storms move in, this is 7 a.m., we'll see a line of showers. We'll have a couple hours of some sunshine and some destabilization in the atmosphere. Let's see. I'll pick back up. Okay. Sorry about that if my internet dropped for just a second. But again, first round should be through by about the noontime hour. We'll have a couple hours of break. Storms start to fire up again about 4 o'clock, and they will continue into the overnight hours before they are pretty well out of the area by midnight. Again, they'll start in kind of a more of a discrete or isolated setup, but they will turn into more of a linear fashion as the evening progresses. Let's see, just before I end this live stream, I want to see if the latest update has come through yet. Looks like it has. Let's take a look at this model data right off the cart. So this is the most current round of model data from the HRRR. This is basically the model I've been using the last little bit. And notice it's maybe just a little bit slower with the thunderstorm development. This is for 8 a.m. tomorrow. Maybe thunderstorms off to our west, but notice those storms still do get in here around the noontime hour. So again, still 6 to 7 a.m. until about noon tomorrow is where we could see some thunderstorm development in the morning. We'll have a couple hours of a break, and then this model shows a little bit more of a thunderstorm development right over us as this goes into the evening hours. This is for 6 p.m. and notice it sparks those showers and thunderstorms right over us. If this event does pan out, notice there's a lot of discrete and isolated cells. That is something we will be watching for both the damaging wind potential as well as the tornadic potential right in the early evening hours. As it goes later on, those storms start to form a linear mode, and then they move out of here. This model moves it out a little bit quicker, has them out of the area by, say, about 9 p.m. tonight. So I'll keep watching these model runs as they come through. We're still looking at the potential for some significant severe weather tomorrow as these updates roll in. So again, just to recap, everyone's under an enhanced risk of severe weather. This is in 2 rounds. First round is, say, anywhere between 6 a.m. and noon tomorrow morning. And then we'll have a little bit of a break. Storms will fire back up tomorrow afternoon, say around 4 p.m. until about 10 p.m. to about midnight is the highest time frame where we could see that severe weather. So that's all I've got for this YouTube live. Thank you all who joined me live, and if you're watching this video afterwards, thanks for checking it out. Make sure to have multiple ways to receive warnings tomorrow. Don't rely on social media just for your only way to receive warnings. Both my weather page and other weather pages do a great job on broadcasting those warnings out, and Facebook and social media in general is a great secondary resource for severe weather. But really, especially for events like tomorrow, make sure you have a primary way to receive severe weather watches and warnings. The best way to do this is by getting, if you don't already have one, by getting a NOAA weather radio. These are sold at all major outlets. Not a sponsor of this at all, but I'm not getting paid to advertise this at all, but all major stores have this. Walmart has them on the shelves about 24/7. They'll run you about $30, and they will broadcast any severe weather watches or warnings and make sure you are as up to date as possible. Another way, phones are a great resource as well. If we get any damaging severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, those will automatically broadcast over your phone. Another great resources are television and radio outlets. And then again, that social media is a great resource, but make sure you have a backup to that as well, because sometimes social media can fail us, and for whatever reason or another, things don't get broadcasted out as quickly as we would like. So have multiple ways to receive warnings tomorrow. Stay weather aware really as you go, really all day tomorrow. I will keep you updated as much as possible here on the Stieber Weather Forecasting Facebook page, as well as here on YouTube. And if the situation requires me, I will, I'll be monitoring it from, I'll be monitoring the situation as much as possible, and I will provide updates on YouTube and Facebook as much as I can. So again, like and follow the page, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for the most